this is a little detail that will catch you up every once in a while. So I'm telling you now, even though I know it's confusing, so that you're just aware that it's a possibility.
If I want to put notes in my code about what I'm doing, as it gets more complicated,
Yes.
can I indent and leave myself notes?
What you can do, so I actually sneakily did this before.
Oh, okay.
You can put hashtag
Okay.
inside the quote. And then Samuel Beckett didn't actually say that, but it felt like something he would have said. It's like Beckettness. So you put a hash mark, and then Python knows everything after the hash mark is not part of the code. That's a comment. This is a technical name in programming. So you can, I believe, put comments after a line. So I could put x equals hello, then some white space, like a space or a tab or whatever, and then put hash mark, this is a line which does nothing. And I think that Python would just ignore everything properly.
It does.
Yeah, but it's really, there is every once in a while something will go wrong with that. It's really just better for them to put comments on their own line. So I would encourage you, in almost all cases, put comments on their own line. There have been a few occasions where I found it useful to not do that. But really, most of the time, just put it on their own line. Okay. This brings me to another point. It is always a good idea to comment your code. The operational criterion is, if I don't touch this code and come back to it 4 months later, will the comment save me more time then than it costs me to write it now? In terms of figuring out what my code does, understanding what I need to change about it to do what I need to do in the future. Okay, and if you have to ask yourself that question, the answer is yes. Right? So in a line like x equals x plus 1, you don't need to write a comment because everyone knows that what that does is increase the current value of x by 1. Otherwise, pretty much, maybe it's a good idea to at least leave a comment. What I almost always do is when I write a loop, which you may not know what that is yet, but I'll explain it shortly. When you write a loop, put at least one line, and usually a 2-line comment indicating the general purpose of the loop. Okay, that coupled with a variety of other good coding practices is usually enough to get you to the point where you can understand what your own code does. So comment liberally. It will save you time if you have to reuse your code. Okay, so let's go back to the string. Okay, if you wanted to access an individual part of the string is considered to be a sequence. There's a whole set of sequence types in Python, and the way that you access an element is with the brackets. So x sub 0. Well, I mean, okay, I'm using sub in a sort of metaphorical sense. This is ordinarily what people would use in subscripts if they were using like mathematical notation or LaTeX or something like this. So where a mathematician would use a subscript, Python uses brackets. That's the basic idea. Okay, so any guesses as to what the value is going to be? Any other guesses?
Nothing?
So we typed in x equals the string hello. Very easy test. What's that?
Nothing. I was getting ready to answer.
Yeah. So it is indeed h. So what this tells us is Python uses computer numbering, not human numbering. Human numbering starts with 1. The first element of a sequence is numbered 1. In computer numbering, the first element of a sequence is normally numbered 0. Right? And that's because of sort of uninteresting reasons about the way that the integers are stored in the computer memory.
That sounds interesting to me.
The lowest integer that there is that is non-negative is 0. Okay, so if we wanted to access the next element of the string, we would say x sub 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, now since the string hello has a length of 5, and the first element is number 0, the last element should be numbered 4, right? So x sub 4 should be O, and it is. Now let's see what happens when we ask it for x sub 5.
Where have you got it? The length of x, where you got it around there? Where you got it around
Oh yeah, sorry, so len is a function.
there?
The argument is x, and this function returns the length of x.
I can't read what the.
Oh, 5.
What, I mean, what's around the x?
Oh, parentheses.
Okay, that,
Yeah.
that's good brackets.
So in general, when you have a function, parentheses are the things that delimit the argument set. Print is an exception. Print is just so common that when they created Python originally, they said we're not going to make everyone use parentheses for print. So it looks more readable when you don't know anything about programming. It feels improper if you are really used to programming and delimiting your arguments. But in actuality, everyone knows print hello world means print hello world with or without the parentheses. So no one really has a problem with it.
But don't try this in Python 3.
Yeah, but don't try it in Python 3. So in Python 3, you have to use the parentheses.
They revoked this after since once.
Okay, so there's a special magical thing that you can do with strings, and that is you can use the negative index. So x negative 1 means give me the last element of hello. So starting from the end, count backwards 1. That's what x sub negative 1 means. Okay, it feels a little bit mathematically duplicitous because this 0 should be starting from the left end, and that's exactly the point. If you're looking at a sequence, sometimes you want to start from the left end, and sometimes you want to start counting from the right end. And especially in the case of a string, if you want to start counting from the right end, but you don't want to figure out how long the string is, you use the negative operator. You know, a lot of times, all you need is get me the last element. So, I mean, it's very common for me to access the last element of a string.
Why would it be minus 0 then?
Because minus 0 is mathematically equal to 0. Yeah. There is a final thing that you can do.
There's a column.
Yes. So you can say x subscript beginning to 1 past the end. So that's x sub 2 colon 5 bracket. Sorry, x bracket 2 colon 5 bracket. Open bracket, bracket. Okay.